should be a good issue for Democrats. It's certainly one they're associated with. And I think the average voter would agree that banks and chemical plants and drug companies need watching. Telling a company, you can't dump the waste from your hog farm straight into the water supply. We're mostly all for that. But Democrats have become a parody of themselves, just making rules to make rules because it makes you feel like you're a better person. Making sure that everything bad never happens again, which you can never fully do. It just makes everyone else's life a drag. The Biden infrastructure bill has a provision that requires all new cars to install an alert system that goes off when you leave a baby in the back seat, which is something done only by crackheads and people who sadly, yes, do it on purpose. And after every one of us winds up bearing the cost for cars to install this alarm, you know who's going to ignore it? Crackheads and people who do it on purpose.
Bill Maher just dropped his take on the media circus. And let's just say, sparks were flying. Maher, a lifelong liberal, absolutely torched the woke crowd for ducking real debates with centrists and conservatives. And trust me, it wasn't pretty. Let's jump right in.
Right-wingers say what you want about them, but they talk to you. They're not into this leftist think that the left really has much more of a, I don't talk to you, I don't want to deal with you, you're deplorable, I can't break bread with you. Yeah. That attitude, and like all the right-wingers, they don't have that attitude. No, again, I didn't vote for them.
For years, Maher's been a solid voice on the left. But even he's fed up with what's happening now. He says today's left avoids genuine debate altogether. Instead of engaging, they hide in echo chambers, completely shut off from reality. Maher's frustration is obvious. How can progress happen if one side refuses to even hear opposing views? It's the wake-up call they need, but don't want to face.
Here, he's a human being. He's not a monster.
And a husband and a father.
Yes. And I liked him. I liked them all. They're all nice people when you meet them in person. And they're not as crazy as they would. Nobody's as crazy as they make them out to be.
And here's Maher's biggest gripe: the instant demonizing of anyone who disagrees. Disagree on policy? You're evil. Question their narrative? You're suddenly a dictator. Push back even slightly? Congratulations, you're a fascist. This kind of knee-jerk labeling doesn't just end dialogue, it poisons it. Instead of honest conversation, the left paints their opponents as villains, making it easier to attack them without listening.
Having just had a birthday and being 66, please don't ask me to start doing grown-up things like run for president. A few weeks ago, Fox News' Dana Perino, a former Bush press secretary, suggested that the Democrats should recruit me to run for president, which is kind of special because it means that in the space of 20 years, Bush press secretaries have gone from telling me I need to watch what I say.
They need to watch what they say, watch what they do, and this is not a time for remarks like that. There never is.
They've gone from that to wondering if I should run for president.
It'll be interesting to see if Bill Maher is recruited to run for...
Now, Maher still calls himself a liberal. But when you look at his critiques of cancel culture, woke extremism, and intolerance, they land far more with conservatives than progressives. That's why some are even speculating. Could Maher run for office? And if he did, would it be under the Republican banner? Imagine that. A lifelong liberal suddenly embraced by the very side he used to spar with.
You can't accuse me of maturing. Let's get this straight. It's not me who's changed. It's the left, who is now made up of a small contingent who've gone mental and a large contingent who refuse to call them out for it. But I will. That's why I'm a hero at Fox these days.
Maher even jokes, "That's why I'm a hero at Fox these days." And he's got a point. Life is about growing, evolving, learning. We all outgrow certain beliefs as time goes on. That's normal. But here's the issue. Today's left seems stuck. Instead of adapting, they cling to rigid, outdated, anti-common sense ideas. While the rest of us grow, they stay frozen in denial.
just how much liberals have their head up their ass, because if they really thought about it, they would have made me a hero on their media. But that can't happen in this ridiculous new era of mind-numbing partisanship, where if I keep it real about the nonsense in the Democratic Party, it makes me an instant hero to Republicans. The same thing happened in reverse to Darth Vader's daughter, Liz Cheney, who is now a hero to liberals simply because she recognizes Biden did not steal the last election. What I said.
And the second you dare point out their flaws, they don't reflect, they lash out. Just ask Maher. For decades, he was their biggest cheerleader. But the moment he started questioning their sacred, woke ideas, he was no longer a hero. Overnight, he became the villain. That's the left's playbook. Love you when you obey, crucify you when you question.
Simply acknowledging reality is now seen as a profile in courage. People sometimes say to me, you didn't used to make fun of the left as much. Yeah, because they didn't give me so much to work with. The oath of office I took was to comedy. And if you do goofy shit, wherever you are on the spectrum, I'm going to make fun of you because that's where the gold is. And the fact that they are laughing at it should tell you something. It rings true.
And honestly, at this point, even outright craziness feels refreshing compared to the mess they're running. Just look around, screaming matches instead of debates, endless purity tests, and a cancel culture so extreme it eats its own. Even Gavin Newsom, California's progressive poster boy, admits the left is in serious trouble. If your own champions are begging for reform, you know the rot runs deep.
Read that San Francisco has basically legalized shoplifting. They think Democrats have gone nuts. They think, that Ted Cruz guy seems like a real stiff. But at least he believes in the concept of shopping with money.
And here's where it gets ugly. The left normalizes chaos and calls it compassion. Shoplifting? Basically a free pass in some cities. Homelessness? They turn sidewalks into tent cities and pretend it's justice. The result? Streets filled with trash, needles, and crime. And everyday Americans are told to accept it as progress. Democrats don't solve problems. They rebrand disasters as equity.
It's not my fault that the party of FDR and JFK is turning into the party of LOL and WTF. Members of Congress tweeting things like cancel rent, cancel mortgage, and no more policing or incarceration, declaring that capitalism is slavery, canceling Lincoln and Dr. Seuss, teaching children they're oppressors and math is racist, making Mr. Potato Head gender neutral, and now an emoji for pregnant men. Real, I'm not making it up.
No wonder they've become every comedian's dream punchline. Defunding the police while crime explodes? That's not progress, that's lunacy. And don't even get started on cancel culture, their so-called justice system, online that destroys lives and careers. They don't even need comedians to mock them anymore. Their policies are the joke.
Passed a law requiring large retailers to have a non-gendered toy section. A non-gendered toy section? Isn't Ken enough? We need a law for that? You have to inject yourselves into everything, from where you can throw a frisbee to who can braid hair? This is why so many people, by the way, were triggered by COVID policies. They were already sick of.
And then there's overregulation. Want to start a business? Enjoy drowning in paperwork and permits. Want to build a home in California? Prepare for years of zoning laws and fees. They don't just govern. They micromanage every inch of life. It's not progress, it's suffocation. You can't control every word, every thought, and every action, and still expect people to thrive. Creativity doesn't grow under surveillance, it dies.
For Democrats, it's certainly one they're associated with. And I think the average voter would agree that banks and chemical plants and drug companies need watching. Telling a company, you can't dump the waste from your hog farm straight into the water supply. We're mostly all for that. But Democrats have become a parody of themselves, just making rules to make rules because it makes you feel like you're a better person. Making sure that everything bad never happens again, which you can never fully do. It just makes everyone else's life.
And that's why Bill Maher stands out now more than ever. He's brutally honest. He calls out hypocrisy, even when it means criticizing his own side. He reminds us that growth comes from questioning ourselves, adapting our views, and actually debating, not hiding in echo chambers or shutting people down with labels. Whether he knows it or not, Maher now connects more with moderates and conservatives than the rigid left he once championed. And that's the ultimate irony. The man once hailed as a liberal icon now proves that common sense has no party line, and that's where we'll leave it. If you enjoyed this breakdown, hit that like button, subscribe, and stick around for more fiery commentary. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.